everyone, this is Katrina with Gardenerette Eco Gardens here on YouTube, and today I'm going to show you how to save lots of money by making your own foaming hand soap. Now, we go through tons of hand soap because of not only the pandemic right now, we're washing our hands more often, but also gardening, taking care of animals, we're constantly washing our hands, and so it only makes sense to make it because it saves so much more money and it reduces the hassle of having to constantly get it at the store. So there are a few things you'll basically need, and so I'm going to be going over the materials you will need, how to make it, and also how much savings this could save you. So the first thing you'll need some type of container, and I use a quart mason jar simply because we go through so much of it. I want to make it in larger batches so I don't have to keep making it so often. But you can definitely use a pint jar. This is slightly smaller than a pint jar. I think it's about a cup's worth. You could also just use a previously purchased foaming hand soap bottle that you've bought at the store and used. You can reuse that plastic bottle. The second thing you will need is this special foaming hand pump. And so what this does, this mixes air with the soap and makes it foam up. So you cannot use just a regular soap dispenser screw-on lid to do the foaming hand soap. So that's basically what you need. Now, there are some things you can purchase online, and what I did in the beginning, I bought this, and I'll post a link to this below, but it's basically just a regular mouth size lid for a mason jar that you can just screw on, and then you can then take your foaming hand pump and just screw that onto there. So I did purchase this adapter in the beginning, and I can reuse it as many times as I want. Now eventually these foaming pumps do quit working. So every so often I will have to buy one at the store just to merely get this pump. I have looked online at purchasing the pump by themselves, but they're often quite expensive. And so actually just buying one ever so often at the store with soap already in it and then reusing this is a lot more in savings. Another thing you could do, if you don't want to buy that special adapter, you can make your own. So what I've done for some of my other ones in the house, I just purchased some plastic mason jar lids, and then what I did, I just cut a hole in there, and I think I used maybe a combination of a drill and a Dremel type tool to basically just carve out that opening, and it just goes right in there, and I made the hole the exact size so it just fits in there and does not move. I'll show that again. Now you could put some glue around there if you wanted to hold that in place, but that's very easy and very cheap to do that. One thing you will also want to think about is the length of this tube. Some of the pumps that you buy in the store since they're very small, the tube is not very long, and so this actually works well with this smaller pint jar, because if this does not go all the way down in the jar, you're going to be left with a lot of soap left in the bottom that you can't even pump out. So one advantage of buying this kit online in the beginning is that they give you a very long tube, and so this fits perfectly down in this quart jar. So I don't recall how much my initial investment was on that, but the amount of savings I'm saving on the soap makes up for it. So now the second part, how to actually make the soap. So what you will need is some Castile soap. And Dr. Bronner's is widely available, but you certainly don't have to use this brand. Just any kind of liquid Castile soap. One thing I do like about the Dr. Bronner's is that it's already scented, and so you can always add essential oils if you want to, but it makes it cheaper just to go ahead and have it scented. The next thing you'll need is just some regular water, and you can use tap water. And if it is going to be sitting in the jar for maybe over a month or something longer, then you probably want to use some distilled water. If you're using it within a couple to a few weeks, it's okay to use tap water. You can add essential oils to the mix. I find that if I add too much essential oil, it can actually dry my hands out. And then you can add a little bit of olive oil into the mix if you want. It can add a little bit of moisture into the soap. I typically don't do that because the Castile soap already has oils in there, and I find it very gentle on the hands, and they don't dry out using this soap. The ratio is very important when you're making the soap. When I use a quart jar, this is about here is 24 ounces, so that's 3 cups of liquid. And for 3 cups of liquid, I use 4 tablespoons of the Castile soap. And what you want to do, you want to first fill up the jar with water, and then you want to add the soap. If you do the opposite, you will suds up the soap inside the jar, and you do not want that. You want it to remain suds free. So add your water first and then the soap. So for this jar, this is about a cup. So I'm just going to add about a half a cup of water. I'm actually going to use the bottle I've already opened. And since this is such a small jar, I only need to add a tablespoon of Castile soap. So I'll just add that into the jar, and I'll just slightly mix it. And you're done. It is very simple. So I add that on there. And you can see now I have foaming hand soap. Another way, wash my hand. Another way you can fill the soap jar, if you don't have any measuring tools around, a basic ratio to fill your jar is 60% water, 20% soap, and 20% air. So you do want to leave some air space at the top so the pump can get the air and make the soap foamy. I had another idea. You can actually get a paint pen and do some type of decorative stencil on the jar, and that way you can pre-mark your measurements, and when you go to fill it up, you can just easily fill it up to those markers and you're done. So no need for measuring. So part 3, so how much money is this actually saving me? So according to my math, if I did this correctly, if you bought a small hand soap at a store name, the cheapest you could buy at the grocery store is probably about 80 cents for a 7.5 ounce bottle of regular hand soap. And of course, it definitely goes up from there. You know, the foaming hand soap tends to be more expensive. Sometimes it's about $4 for a small bottle. And I've seen some fancier soaps, with a lot of essential oils or natural ingredients, could almost be like $8 for a small bottle. And so those cheaper bottles too are not going to be using good ingredients. Things like sodium lauryl sulfate, they're very bad for your skin, for your health, and also the environment. So I definitely do not use things with sodium lauryl sulfate. They also have artificial fragrances and things like that, so I really do not use products like that. And the Castile soap is going to be natural and more environmental friendly. So just basing it on the cheapest hand soap you could buy, brand name at the grocery store, to fill this with that type of soap would be $3. And upon my calculation, for this whole bottle of Castile soap, this comes out to $1 per jar of soap. So that alone is $2 in savings, and I'd probably fill this up maybe like 3 times per month. And so that alone is going to be several dollars worth of saving in soap. And using this in your kitchen, your bathrooms, over a period of time, that is going to save so much money, and it's better for the environment. So I hope you will try making your own hand soap at home. You can see I actually found this bottle on clearance for $5. I think normally retail these cost around $16. I often see them on sale for maybe $12 to $15. So going down from there, you could make this for maybe 50 cents per quart jar. So I will definitely hope you will try making your own foaming hand soap at home. We're all washing our hands a lot more during the pandemic, so it only makes sense to do something like this. So if you like this video, please subscribe and like, and let me know your comments below if you have tried this before and if you like it or maybe what you didn't like about it. So till next time, thank you.